The most important day of my life. I don't think I ever shared this with you guys. But basically, back when I graduated high school, I was still 17 years old. All right, that was in June of 1988. And I was going to go in the Army on July 26, 1988. I was going to go to a 2-year enlistment to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, as a telecommunications specialist. Wherever the hell that is, I don't know. Anyway, the day I was getting ready to go, I was up in Baltimore getting ready to get on the airplane. The guy, and I think I did share this with you before, but there's more to the story, so I can tell you. The guy basically at the airport, right as you're getting ready to board, says, hey, if any of you guys got any problems with the law or anything like that that need to be squared away, don't get on this plane. And I just remember thinking, it's like, I just turned 18. I was like, okay. For some reason, God said, you better tell him, always better be honest than a lie. So I told him. He goes, you can't come until you get the lawsuit settled. And I wasn't any major criminal. I had run, some credit card fraud, stealing credit cards. This case was being accused of stealing and crashing a car and whatnot. And I had to get it resolved. I was just a punk kid, man. A hoodlum, small time hoodlum. Nothing like, violent or anything like that. But I had to get resolved. No other way around it. Anyway, so I remember saying that. And then my recruiter was pissed, blah, 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 blah. And so we finally got resolved, right? And we got resolved, I think it was October of 88. By then, my girlfriend broke up with me. My dad had moved to Virginia, so I moved to Virginia. I didn't know anybody. All my friends are kind of gone. They're off to college or back in high school, whatever it was. So it's just basically your old buddy Josh all by himself and working in Virginia, working at People's. I think I was working at Staples at that stage. So I still had to take the train to go back and forth to Staples where I was working back where I used to live. So it was a pain. It was just a freaking nightmare, dude. I was like, this sucks. And I said, oh my goodness. So anyway, I contacted my recruiter when I finally got everything resolved. And he's like, all right, well, if you want to go in, I got to pull some strings. I'm sure he did it, but he said that. He goes, the only thing we have for is light infantry. And it's a 3-year enlistment as opposed to 2. It's actually 3 years and 14 weeks. He said, you got to go November 22nd, 88. I said, well, it gives me 3 weeks because, yeah, if I can get you in, but they might not even want you. I'm sure he's full of crap. And I'm sure they got paid more to recruit infantrymen. So I said, all right, well, I don't have any other choice. I have nothing going. I got no girlfriend, I got no friends. My dad is in a state that I don't know anybody in Virginia. It's still in the D.C. area, but it's like, I'm just a loser, you know what I'm saying? I basically barely graduated high school. So I said, all right. So I go in the Army, and I suck. I'm a horrible soldier, but I am cock strong. So one thing I can do is dig ditches. So I don't know much about anything, but I can dig ditches. Wait, so now I finally passed the rifle range. I actually shot pretty well relative to where I first started. So, I was a pretty good learner. It just takes a while for me to figure it out. So I'm like, all right, I got past that. I got past the PT test and all this. I was always in pretty good shape. So I was like, all right, good. I'm ready to graduate. So we go out to the field. It's our last field problem. They call it FTX. I don't know, field training exercise. Oh yeah, FTX, field training exercise. Hey, I just came up with that. I think that's what it's called. And it's like a 10-day, 8-day, you're out in the field, out in the woods in Fort Benning, Georgia. And you're doing this stuff, digging ditches and, just patrols and infantry stuff. And, but I just do it. They did the gas chamber and all. I think we did that before. Anyway, I can't remember. I'm just doing what they tell me to do. But then you have to hump back. And I can't remember, it might be a 10-mile road march or something like that. And I can't remember how much weight you got on your back, 60 pounds or something. I just don't remember. You gotta basically do this big road march back after that. There might be 8 days on the field, 7 days, I can't remember. But you're tired, your feet are all nasty, and now you gotta walk back. And if you can't make it back, you get recycled. And so this is the day you gotta make it back. And basically, I think it's 10 miles. Don't quote me, I think it's 10 miles, but whatever. And I remember about 3/4 of the way, I'm doing good. I'm like, nah, I got this, no problem. And then about the last quarter, I was dragging. I was sucking wind. I was like hallucinating. I was just like dizzy. And I don't know if it's because I didn't have any water or anything like that. I don't know what was going on. I'm sure I had water. But because they made sure you got your canteens filled. I was like, dude, I don't think I can make this. And I remember my drill sergeant Ortiz came up. He's a small Filipino guy, but freaking tough as nails. He goes, Scan. You got to do it. You could tell that I was about ready to fall out. He's like, got to do it. You only got 1 mile left. And I was like looking around like, well, I don't know if I can drill it to Sergeant. And he said, you don't want to go through this crap again. I better not see you going through this crap again. But he stayed by my side. He didn't carry in my weight. He stayed by my side. He's just like kicked me in the ass. I think a couple guys in my platoon noticed I was like sucking wind too. They're like, come on, Scanley, come on, Scanley. Because other people were falling out. Not many, but other people were. I said, I can't. And I just remember thinking, if I fall out, I'm going to get recycled. And I don't know if I can do this again. You see what I'm saying? I just remember sitting there thinking, if I fall out and I leave and I can't make this, there's nothing for me to come back to. Nothing. I mean, literally, it's just me. I got no friends, got no girlfriend. My dad lives in a place, this tiny little apartment next to some Indians who's, you know, they had all this curry smell in their little apartment building we lived next to. You come in, you smell they were cooking curry, and I don't like curry, whatever it's called. And I was like, I don't want to go back to that crap, you know what I'm saying? In South Washington Street, Alexandria. I said, this isn't. He only had one bedroom. I was sleeping on the front room anyway because he didn't expect me to be there. He thought I'd be in the Army. But I just remember I was looking around like I can't do it. I just remember saying there's nothing there. If you don't do this, you got nothing but to have to go to. And that's kind of like the burn the boats mentality, man. It's like I had nothing left. I had to do it. And no matter what it is, I said, okay. I just kept, one step at a time, man, one step at a time. Drill Sergeant Ortiz was kicking me not literally kicking me in the pants, but, like, come on, let's go. And I was just like, whoa, I was like, dude, I suck. And when my feet hurt, blisters all everywhere. And then I remember seeing the barracks. I said, oh, they're the barracks. Where was it? Fort Sand Hills, that was called, Harmony Church. Sand Hill, I can't remember. I think it was Sand Hill. Anyway, so I remember seeing the barracks, and I was like, oh, I just got to, so we had to like, it's kind of like over there. I was like, okay, now I see the barracks. I'm like, all right. And even then I was still like, I don't know, man. Freaking half a mile, quarter of a mile. And it was like 100 feet. And finally I just get there, and I just plopped down, and I was like, I did it. And if I did not do that, I guarantee I would not be here today. I would not be. And it's the most important thing, man, is, little puppy. I just kept at it. And I'm more than anything else in my life, I'm most proud of that because I could easily quit. I smoked cigarettes back then. I like to drink, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was still in good shape because I was only 18 years old, but it's like, man, that's the most. Hey, puppy. Hi. What kind of dog is that?
She's a pug rat terrier.
Oh, so
cute, isn't she?
So cute. Anyway, so I was like, that's, not one of my, literally the proudest thing ever because I was like, I'm not cut out for this infantry crap, you know what I'm saying? And yet I did it, one step at a time. That's the burn the boats mentality, man. And you got to have it. You got to say there's no turning back because if you have let's just say I had my friends, had my girlfriend, had this, that, and the other. It might not be any, it might just go back. No big deal. You just go back to where you were, which is, I didn't want to go back to where. That's why I was in the Army to begin with. Because I want to escape from where I was. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you just got to say there is no turning back. And a lot of times I'll say that for retirees. Say, look, man, once you stop, burn the boats. There's no turning back. And that'll change your perspective. It'll make you get through to take that extra step, to see the barracks in the horizon. Say, I can do it. And as much as it sucks, dude, you tighten up your belt and you get it done. And anyway, if I did not do that, I would not be here. I've been a loser, probably smoking dope, selling dope, probably in jail, you know what I'm saying, and freaking just being a freaking loser. And we all have some kind of skill set. If you wasted being a loser, you suck, dude. So don't be a loser. All right, God bless. Love your thoughts. Smash.